How's it going, beautiful people? Okay, so I am going to talk about today briefly. As brief as I try to be, it's still very draining for me to talk. And I got to continue on with my walking today and doing different things, staying on track. Stop procrastinating my oil change. Actually, just remembered the second. Okay, so I'm going to talk about how there are. Okay, so when it comes to praying, right? I grew up. Uh, how do I condense the story? Okay, both Baptist and Buddhist. And Buddhist is more what I related to, but I also walked away from Christianity with a really bad impression of it. Christianity, the church, just different things, right? That I felt were not being loving or of love to the masses, not even really specifically to me. I think the church that I went to was small and nice, and I wish that I still had the balls back then to tell my stepmom I didn't want to go. And but people pleaser, and plus she was such a good person, like I didn't want to cause problems, right? I didn't want to rock the boat with her. And I just laugh at myself reading the book by Clive Barker, Hellraiser, if you've ever heard of it, and just dressing and being the same way that I am, black all the time. I haven't even gone into those stories of talking about that kind of stuff, encountering with people, and used to be basically getting dirty looks my entire life. That's not what I'm talking about right now, but use the word prayer, right? I had negative association around it, this thing with God. And so it took me a little bit before I found, maybe I'll say like age 23, 22, and I found this great author that I loved, and still to this day, even though I haven't read tons of his material. That was really good. I turned my key off because the battery, I was supposed to be charging my phone. Ernest Holmes, prayer is are some clips from Science of the Mind. That's what he's known for. And so the point of the story is that I embraced the word God. I actually found other ways to utilize another word for it, like the most high or the most divine or whatever. I look at it as source and consciousness rather than looking at it as a human being or a person or anything like that. And I think Jesus was a spiritual teacher for a lot of people. So with that being said, is that everything, certain things resonate with certain people. Sometimes it's nothing. Like my dad, who's an atheist, I still kind of want to ask him, so like, did you ever develop a like for anything? And when I made him this bookmark thing, I put I think I put Saint Christopher or something metal on there, just to kind of, again, like, insert the little bit of something, not in preparation for death for people, but just to give them some sort of comfort, right? So when I meet people, depending on what's going on in their life, friends, acquaintances, or whatever it is, depending on the level of the relationship we have, I like to provide some sort of comfort for them. I just like that stuff, right? So this morning I woke up and I was thinking, okay, how can I provide other than holding space for these people that might be struggling amidst their personal storm, right? And I just love this. I'll tell you the story later, that I'm by my work. Just the diversity in the crowd that live here that I'm just finding out about. Okay, because he's bumping, like, it's just funny. It's like a country club, but like, yeah, his slump right now. Okay, so I was like, okay, what can I give to her besides a bracelet? I think she just recently started praying, like, and so I don't really think, we never have like gone to church with her or anything like that. Okay, so rather than a necklet, a bracelet, kind of like mala beads she can pray on, or a rosary, I know that she really loves Hawaii, and that is something that she can relate to. So, what kind of picture? So, if I still do the bracelet, maybe I'll put some sort of Hawaiian historical figure. right? Because I know that there is something, doesn't have to be mythical. He's really going to play his music the whole time, I guess. Okay, to turn off. And I haven't told you guys too about my like psychic things that really, of course, have been happening for like 20 some years, but now they're even more wild because they'll happen within 5 minutes, like today that we are walking, and there's a volunteer firefighter department where I am, and I'm like, hey, nobody's really ever there because they only get called. That's how small they are, right? Only literally on call. I don't even know how many calls that they do a week. But I was like, hey, nobody's really ever there. And guess what? One comes around the corner, like has to pull in front of us and just before we could cross the street. Anyway, all kinds of stuff like that. So I was thinking, okay, Hawaiian historical figures or something of influence, or maybe Hawaiian healer or something like that, which I think is really unique. And it's very specific to her. So I know that it's going to be very meaningful. So that's what I'm going to do. And there might be some like ocean creatures, right? So I'm going to get a picture. I might do the bracelet thing and then do like a little saying. I might also include something in there like of what the Stoics said, some sort of really wise words of wisdom. And in this case or scenario, yeah, I don't even know that I would give her anything Buddhist because I don't know that that relates at all. But it's still a philosophy, so I might still include something. So in this segment, it's pretty much that I wanted to say is that in providing support for others and just opening them up, because I don't know how they're going to feel about it, but I know that she is right now specifically praying. This might appeal to her, right? She's having ups and downs and low moments and feeling like she needs a lot of help with being compassionate in her situation. This is having to do with a family member with cancer. And there are basically different ways to pray or start doing it, right? So I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because this guy is in front of me is doing something distracting. Okay. Okay, so I will it's just funny. Okay. So the different ways to pray and to do that. And if you don't like the word pray, you can also just, I don't know, meditating with yourself. I like to say meditate to listen, praying to ask for strength. And there's different ways to pray. That's what I was going to do. And I'm not going to go in deep with it because you can go look up Ernest Holmes or whoever it is. Now he's walking over to this guy like he's trying to start a fight. Maybe he just didn't like that somebody was staring at him. He didn't like it. He said he was being racist. Anyway, okay, so I will finish this later because I don't want to be in the dramatics of the situation. Anyway, different ways to pray and just read the book. In Ernest Holmes, there's clip, you can pick it up and read parts of it, and it will give you suggestions because it's not to be coming from a pleading space. And that is one of, I think, very valuable pieces to learn is that there are different ways to pray and it doesn't have to come from a pleading place and just stating what your desire is and coming from love. And there's a whole formula I have. Sorry, that really just distracted me. I'm like getting lightheaded, almost anxiety, thinking that there was going to be a fight because that still happens with me. Anyway, but you know what's more interesting in that happening right there? That guy could have just been making all of that up in his head, thinking that somebody's staring at him. And as he thought he was like being racist against him and he was going to approach him, it's kind of like you don't even know what's going on and you're making an assumption, right? So I would encourage all of us, don't make any assumptions about anything because I know I would have felt like a dirk. a dick jerk if I had made an assumption and I was totally wrong. Okay, so I will meet you in the next clip. Okay, bye. Thanks.